Let me see. Let me hide the bowl.
I bet. So apparently we're supposed bless you.
That was me chocolate raining my
Oh,
clear throat off the mic.
chocolate rain. I what the hell?
You know the chocolate rain, dude. They chocolate rain. Deep, dop,
Some
deep,
ding
dop,
ding
dop,
ding
dop.
bum bing a ding.
What is up? I am Dr. Socks,
And I'm Dr. J, and welcome to another episode of the Quarantine Snacks Podcast, aka the QSP.
where you come for the snacks, but you leave
Leave
with
with the
some
soul.
soul. Oh.
That's pretty good, bro.
We did it, man. We did it.
We did it, man. It's been like 6 years since I seen you. Where you been, bro? How you
Boy,
doing?
man, Gucci. I am Gucci,
Okay. All
like
right.
some sneakers, or a belt, or a mane, if you
Oh,
will.
well, this is the
Yeah,
QSP, so I wouldn't be surprised if you got Gucci sneakers at the end of this podcast.
I've got some fire.
I heard about some heat you got, so I ain't even going. All right,
Ooh,
but go
so
ahead.
much.
Go do your
Yes,
thing.
sir.
I ain't too
Yes, sir.
worried
I am
about.
doing well. Life
Good,
has been
good, good.
good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh, Good is relative because I'm still a black man in America, but we'll get to that
Okay.
later.
All right. All right. All
Um,
right.
and working hard. You know that
Yep.
working super hard.
That's what we do.
That's why it's taking us so long. People have been asking me when is the next episode coming out, which is exciting, inspiring, and daunting all at the same time.
Yep. Yep.
How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm pretty much the same, just like you. It's really been a space of, working hard, trying to practice self-care, trying not to
That
kind of, lose it. So it's been a balancing act, man. And then it seems like every time we try to connect, one of us was either at a speaking engagement or out of town or being a good partner or family member or friend. It was just it's been going on and on and on. So it's a good busy, but I'm glad we're able
hmm
to find some time. We're actually recording on a what's today? I don't even know my days anymore.
Thursday, I think.
It's
Oh,
Thursday,
it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
My
It's
lord, my
Wednesday.
lord.
Yeah, yeah.
Wednesday.
So we typically record on the weekends, but we
We
our
do.
weekends are not ours anymore. So this is after an extended work day. So if we kind of lose it a little bit, charge it to our day jobs and not the podcast. Hey,
Yes. Way to say that. I like that. Charge
do
it
what
to
you
the day
gotta do.
job, not the pod.
Yeah,
Man, I'm with
yeah.
you, my brother. I'm
Unless you
with
love
you.
it, then it's all QSP. The day job
Yeah,
had
you
nothing to
got that
do with
right. Man, that there's a psychological term for that. This is called the not hindsight bias, but it is the some kind of fallacy, which I'll talk to you about later.
Okay.
But it's the
All right.
idea that like things that go well are my fault, things that go bad are
Yeah.
your fault. And
Yeah, I
um,
like that. It's a lot of toxic friends that I know that deal with that right now.
oh
But
my
we'll
god,
talk about that later. Until you find out maybe you're the toxic friend. And you're like, oh boy,
oh
oh
my god,
my.
oh my
But
god.
yeah, man. But it's been good. It's good to be back on. One of the
Man,
last things that we talked about too. We listened to your feedback, everyone. So we appreciate you even providing that. Thank you for the following. We're realizing
thank
that
you.
we're getting our numbers up. We have a huge following on Clubhouse, which is awesome. So we're gonna do
Yeah.
that pretty soon. So shout out to our Clubhouse listeners, shout out to our YouTube listeners,
Yes.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and just Facebook everywhere. We appreciate
Everywhere.
every share, every comment. And so one of the biggest
Hmm.
comments they said, they love our sneakers, they love to know
Love
what
them.
we got on, but
They do.
they really want us to jump into the topics first
Yes, they
because
do.
kind
Yes,
of
they do.
pull them in. So we hear you, and we're gonna do that too. So we're gonna save the sneakers at the end if we even have time, because truthfully, from what we got the feedback, they were like, "Hey, you could do that as a special segment." But we love to hear what y'all have to say. So we
We
listen,
do.
we appreciate it, and we're gonna provide you with that, man. So,
Yeah.
man,
Yes,
where you
sir.
want to start, bro? We're gonna jump right in
Man,
this thing.
brother, I would love to take my time and to warm up and to kind of slow walk into this, but there is no way to do
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
Um, there was a young man by the name of George Floyd.
Hmm.
He was
Okay.
murdered
Mhm.
by some police officers about this time last year,
Mm,
right?
mm. A whole year. Okay.
Um,
Whole year
whole
ago.
year, yeah, whole
Mm,
year ago. And what happened? I don't know if you've heard the news, um, but what happened was there was an officer, Derek Chauvin,
mhm,
um, who who was people recorded him. I don't know if you heard this, but he was on this young man's neck for 9 minutes and almost 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
We actually thought it was 8 minutes and 46, 43 seconds, but found out there was about another minute
A little bit
of
longer.
being on this
Right.
man's neck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, again, the desire of mine is a slow walk into the, but there's no way to do it other than to say that this young man was murdered, and his family members and the Black community, and not just the Black community here in the United States, the Black communities of the world, the white allies of the world, the other brown people,
Mm-hmm.
um, and people of color throughout the entire world began protesting the way Americans do policing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and unfortunately, since that time, there has been an appalling amount of other Black people who've been murdered by police officers. But we have been waiting and waiting and waiting for the trial. The prosecution said yesterday that they were grateful for um, our patience, for the patience of the public, and kind of allowing them to take the time they needed in order to present the adequate case. Young man was charged, and we found out some news yesterday, Jared. What was that? What was that news we found out yesterday?
We found out that he was found guilty on all charges, all three charges. And so it was interesting because it was read in the middle of the day. And so I really didn't well not it was towards the end of the end of the work day, I'd say,
Yeah.
for us in Central Time. And so I was in the middle of actually prepping to give some DE and I resources to one of the teams that I work with.
Yeah.
And right before I went in to give these resources, the person who brought me in introduced me and had kind of given me a heads up and like, hey, they're actually about to, announce the verdict. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. So usually I try to kind of go into my own space, kind of isolate myself away from the world,
Yeah.
allow myself to kind of absorb whatever and process how I need to, bro.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't get that chance.
Brother,
And so it was I was like, oh boy, if they don't get this right, if they don't get this
man.
right, I might say the true way I feel. Uh
Mhm, mhm.
just with like with just no cut on it. It's just 100
Yeah,
proof.
yeah.
And so as she introduced, she introduced me and said that just so everyone knows, the verdict had been announced. And so this is me finding out in real time. She's like, he was found guilty on all three charges. And so
Mhm.
in that moment, I'm like, okay, I also have to recognize the space I take up and how I take up space as a DE&I practitioner,
Mm.
but also recognizing that though from our perspective, our communities that we are close knit with, we all know where we would hope the verdict will go.
Oh, yeah.
But we also work within organizations where we recognize that not everyone wanted or thought that that verdict was the right one. And so, how do you show up in a space where you're trying to, for one, continue the conversation, to still honor George Floyd,
Yeah.
and still make sure everyone knows that this wasn't justice, this was accountability, because I
Mhm.
don't think that justice happens when we can't bring George Floyd back, right?
Right.
But it's a continued conversation. So I didn't want people to feel that with that verdict the work was done. Oh, like oh my god, like the Las Vegas Raiders put I can breathe, like no,
Oh.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
you
we
can.
you want to talk about bad pub? You're like,
Oh, you can.
where's your black people? Did you run this by your players? Yeah. Anyone on the staff
Mm.
that was like, I don't think
Mm.
the I can breathe, part
No,
after the
not
verdict
okay.
was the best approach.
Not okay.
But then, again, recognizing that, the work will continue. We need to
Yeah.
continue figuring out where we start to break down systemic barriers across all levels, including
Yeah.
policing. I mean, let's just talk about it. I mean, again, we can kind of delve on it. That's just kind of where I was in that moment, and so even just letting people know, and remembering that not everyone agrees with the verdict. But one thing that we can say is that, it's a time for us to continue to lean into each other for understanding, but also recognize that, the accountability piece is here to stay. We're not the generation of, we didn't live through segregation and desegregation and didn't have
Right.
children who were born into desegregation. We were born not segregated,
Facts.
and for a lot of us ticked off when we see this is still a thing, and the
Yeah.
generation under us,
Right.
they're killing it. They're killing it in terms of
Absolutely,
accountability.
man.
So I think
Mhm.
the future is bright, but we definitely have more work to do, man. So again, he was charged with murder in the second degree while committing a felony. He was charged guilty with third degree murder and charged guilty with second degree manslaughter. So
Mhm.
that's where we are with the police officer, former police officer. And yeah. How about
Yeah,
yourself, man?
man.
Because I know when this happened, it felt like kind of like Rodney King, OJ status. How did you
Right. Big
feel
time.
about it, and how are you dealing with it? This was just yesterday, so how
Yeah,
you?
man, you're right. It's super fresh, bro. And so I remember when I caught wind, so I got a text message from someone who had mentioned they're about to announce the verdict.
Mm,
And I don't know, well, you were at work, so you probably didn't do this, but I had a quick, like maybe a 30-minute gap before I had my next patient. So I put on CNN, hoping to hear this news right away.
yeah.
Um, and they had, for about an hour or so before the verdict was actually shared, they were on the streets doing interviews, kind of getting information from folks. So,
Mm,
um, there was a lot of coverage, kind of like the same thing with the Biden Harris election where we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So
yeah. Yeah.
when the top of the hour came, I had to go see my patient. So and I'm doing that stuff, telehealth currently. So I have like the TV here. I've got my, computer here with my patient. So I have to turn the TV off and my mind is still inside of that box.
Mhm.
Um, and so I really struggled at times being as patient as present rather, um, you know, as I usually am, to be
Right. Right.
fully present. It is hard, man, to be fully present,
Hmm.
um, to support patients, especially while, such kind of crazy news is going to be shared.
Hmm.
Um, I have a kind of, I think it's an interesting, but probably surprising for some folks, interesting way to cope with this stuff. The same way I coped with the Biden Harris election. My hope in the United States when it comes to um, giving Black folks just not giving, for Black folks being treated the way like humans,
Hmm.
right,
Right.
is very low, right?
Yeah.
My bar is very low. I
Mhm.
remember reading an article about Dr. King and how all he wanted was for us to be treated civilly, right? He didn't fight for equal rights per se. It was just civil. Just treat us like humans.
Hmm.
Um, and equal rights should be the very least, considering what Black folks have been through in this country.
Right.
And
Right.
yet, it is appalling, of course, it is disgusting that we have had to wait a year in order for a man who was in a uniform to murder someone in broad daylight on camera.
Mm,
And
mm.
so because of that context, I had already been working on being at peace with the fact that this was not going to go the way that I had hoped.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because of course, the way I hoped was for him to be alive.
Right.
Um, but even with that, I didn't expect justice. I never do.
Hmm.
Um, and so, as a Black man who's got some education, this informs the way in which I drive around, the way in which I think when I'm out, when I'm around white folks, the way that I engage at my job.
Hmm.
Like all
Hmm.
those things are informed by the fact that I don't expect white folks to see me, um, and I don't expect to be treated like any more than 3/5 of a human if I'm lucky. Um, and that is coming from someone who I guess now is like officially middle class and who has an education and who has a good job and works for a prestigious university. Um, Nonetheless, I still feel like I got 2/5 left to find somewhere, you
Mm.
know. Um, and so, I really opted out after
Wow.
hearing the verdict and stuff. I'm still, I think, a bit in shock, right? Surprised, and also, kind of disheartened because again with all this evidence they don't need much evidence to show to kill a Black man.
Mhm.
A man has sweet tea in his hand and that's enough to kill him. But we need a year in video and 100 witnesses and all this stuff in order to consider putting somebody on trial. And they say the we expect him to get about 40 years, um, because of the three counts. I think there's like the average for the first two is 12 and a half years. The average for the bottom for the second for the I think it's the manslaughter. It's about four. Um, so maybe about 39 or whatever that number is, 35 years. I don't expect that either, right?
Hmm.
Like I expect him
Yeah.
to maybe go away, um, and get sentenced for 20 or 30 years and then come out, in 10 if and so my point is, man, just like being a black man, a black person, um, especially with all the violence in the AAPI community,
Hmm.
how that informs being a person of color in the United States and kind of
Right.
trying to support my friends that are a part of that community. Um, Also being aware of, um, the other injustices that have happened recently. Lieutenant Karan Nazario, Dante Wright, of course, who
Hmm.
was taught by an a former, girlfriend um, of George Floyd, and then you add to that Micaiah Bryant, right? And
Hmm.
this happened just yesterday as
Happened
well. It's
yesterday
wild,
during the
wild,
verdict.
man.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly, man.
yeah,
Like,
moments after the verdict
come
was even
on, man.
announced. I mean,
Come on, man.
I'll have to try and figure out like I think the more engaged we do a lot of work around, people services, whether
Yeah.
it's, therapy for you, whether it's, personal development, diversity, equity, and inclusion, even talent development. Like we're in the people business, right?
Yeah,
And
of course.
so when I think about how we even the word people, we have it's almost like we have tiers, you know.
Mm,
Tiers, like you mentioned, still looking for that two-fifths. Like I think that's profound what you just said. And we're still looking for that. And I think the struggle is the longer we do this work, the more patience we lose
mm,
because we do recognize and we all understand why certain progress is still taking so long to happen.
yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm as a black man because in most organizations, if they're in the executive suite, they're probably your
Mm,
D&I person, if they're black or a woman, which is very interesting. I think we
yeah.
have other talents that we can give to our corporations and organizations, but that's another story too. But
Mhm.
I say that to say we have some deeper conversations to have, and I think we do a very good job of still being the people that we are and trying not to blame or shame groups of people.
Mm,
But we are tired of
yeah.
waiting for people who are taking advantages or receiving certain privileges due to these inequalities and just out of fear, but really part of it I think is self-preservation. I the fear of if there's equity, if I'm used to having things that work in my favor, even if sometimes I might feel guilty about it, and the thought of I will lose something. So
Mm,
to if you have several privileges, this could be anybody and anything. It could be it doesn't necessarily have to be around race.
yeah.
If you're used to receiving those privileges, sometimes equity can feel like oppression.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
so where I'm at right now is losing patience because I see what's on the other side. The other side is the freedom of that guilt or shame or whatever when you are a true ally and move past allyship to an accomplice.
Mm,
Because if we can all get to the place where we recognize and understand and have the needed conversations and own up to the systemic barriers that are here, we can make the needed changes.
yeah.
This doesn't have to continue to be a conversation where we're starting from ground zero. We're starting and so we see that not having these in-depth and needed conversations,
Yeah.
excuse me, it affects everything. And so right now we're seeing how it affects policing
Yeah.
and the idea and just the socialization of our black skin, meaning danger or threat or fear for people who are supposed to protect us, I'm still trying to figure out where's the de-escalation practices that I see them do with people who might look like them. I'm just saying, as a people, we are tired of we
Man,
we we, we see the video and we already know what it is.
man,
The person was
bro,
scared for their life. Why? Why were they scared for their life?
bro, like this is wild. Like I, I forgot. I forgot he was the whole police,
Yeah, right.
right? Like
Trained.
I forgot, right? The young lady with was that Dante Wright with the taser? Like she forgot, she grabbed the wrong weapon.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna figure out what's down the road. I'm hoping that George Floyd's like that Derek Chauvin's um the verdict there will kind of set some precedents for what is to happen.
Yeah.
Um but my thought is like I be forgetting that this is the whole police killing black people. This ain't a random white dude. This ain't
Yeah.
the, hooded KKK dude, even though he
Mhm,
might not have a hood on, whatever. Like it's like, wow, the
mhm,
whole police to
yeah.
protect and serve. And your boy gets a knee to the neck and
Mhm,
someone records that for 9 minutes, for more than 9 minutes. That is appalling because
mhm.
the fact that black folks, like by and large, I won't say like ubiquitously, but by and large, have a certain sentiment around those who are supposed to protect and serve us.
Mhm.
Um, that idea of like feeling safe around the police, I don't know what that feel like.
I don't know what that feels like either. I have gotten into literal, uh, not arguments, because I don't have arguments with my partner. We have really like in-depth
Mm,
conversations. We really don't
mm-hmm.
argue. We really like try to learn and form understanding from our
Yeah, yeah.
experiences. But the police and the fear that I have with the police is nowhere near what her experience is as a black woman.
Huh, really?
And I didn't I didn't know. I thought everyone had this same level of fear.
Hmm.
With I know they scared of me. I know I can't
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
nothing. And even if
Hands
I
up.
complied, none of that really, I don't know, because I don't know this
Absolutely.
person's intentions. I don't know what they're thinking. All I know is that you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. And that
Yep.
fear is something, we get to talk young, early on as young black teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Make it home. Just make it home. We'll figure it out. Just make it home.
Yeah.
And I hated that conversation because I didn't
Mm,
have that
mm,
fear until that conversation. I'm looking at, my grandfather had that conversation with me, and he was my father, and
mm.
and my father figure growing
Yeah,
up. And
yeah,
so I really was angry. I was like, wait, like, why, what do you mean? And so
yeah, yeah,
he was saying, you don't know who's behind the badge. You don't know why
yeah.
they signed up. You don't know what their intentions are. You don't know if they had a bad day. But the way that the system is set up, I need you to make it home so I can go fix
Facts.
whatever that problem.
Facts. Big
And so I'm
facts.
I'm conditioned and raised into that.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime, like it happened when I thought I was gonna get pulled over. And
Mm,
you know, and I think, my partner kind of saw me like really not like it
mm-hmm.
and really kind of tense up, like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so the cop passed by and I had a moment, and she was, she really was checking on it, and
Mm,
and seeing
mm.
how I was feeling. And I was like, in that moment, I just had this almost like paralysis of,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I just saw all the videos, all of the things that, you
Mm,
see on social media, and it's like it flashes and you go into survival mode, that fight or flight,
mm.
but there you can't fight. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
now you're going against all your neuroscience that tells
Mm-hmm.
you, you're supposed to be able to defend
Protect
yourself,
yourself.
to
Yeah.
ask
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself, to ask these questions. And so it's just a different experience, but I hated that feeling.
Yeah,
And I don't
man.
know what safety to those that we pay our tax dollars for looks like.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and I, and don't get me wrong, I know some great law enforcement
Oh,
officials
absolutely.
who are in it
Absolutely.
for I believe the majority of them are in it for the right reason. Um, and but we also have to recognize that every one of us has bias.
Yeah.
both conscious and unconscious.
Of course. Of
And
course.
so the question is, who are the groups that you're most comfortable with? Who are the groups that you're least comfortable with? And then ask yourself why. And if you are going into an environment with a group that you are least comfortable with, recognize that your cognitive bias is going to make your fight or flight mechanism kick in,
Right.
that everything is a threat that you have to defend yourself for. But if we're not talking about that and we're just like, oh, what is reform? Reform is like, I don't know what reform is. Throw the whole system. I don't know what the
Bro,
solution is, bro.
I don't know either. I was just thinking about that, man. I was writing down like I was reading an article, which is wild that I'm saying that nowadays. I used to never ever read, and I hated reading through grad school,
Yeah.
but I had to for all this. And now I'm like bounced back. Like I've taken enough breaks from reading, and now I'm like I'm reading. I'm reading this
Yeah.
one book called Mindset. We'll talk about it later,
Ooh,
but
okay.
it's a really dope book. But
Okay.
yeah, man, I was thinking about like this whole training ordeal. Like, what is the story with how much training I had to have to do what I do, you
Hmm.
had to have to do what you do.
Yes.
The amount of training it takes. That I saw an article that said um, that the amount of hours or like years that it takes in order to save the lives,
Mm,
right, is nowhere near commensurate with the amount of years to protect them.
yeah.
And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
like how many weeks does it take to become, a police officer as opposed to how many years it takes to do surgery on someone who was wrongfully shot, right?
Mhm, mhm.
If at all, if at all, like if you can revive them at all, even just even EMTs, right?
Yeah.
Quite a bit of training. And so we look at our police officers and I'm grateful for what they do, especially when it's done well, but goodness
Mhm.
gracious,
Yeah.
like a system that was created to oppress. I'm really getting like down on this
Mhm.
concept that like the same system that was created to oppress folks that look like me, I cannot expect that system to support me. There
Right.
might be
Absolutely.
individuals who
Right.
will, but the system's not created that way for me, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
And I try to think, what how does the system protect those who look like us, and essentially it's like, do we get more black and brown police officers? Is that because I if I see a black cop, I feel safer. I will say when
Oh,
I took a trip to the Caribbean, St. Martin, Jamaica, like there was this feeling of
mm,
safety I
mm,
never had in the States.
mm.
And I was like, man, like I was like, wow, all the police officers are black that
Huh.
I saw. And I was like, I'm not scared. Like I'm
Bro, that that
what?
that like it's funny. I never thought about that when it comes especially to like ethnic matching. Like
Yeah,
in psychotherapy, we talk about that, like the importance of having a therapist that looks like you and
yeah,
understands your background. And so I have
absolutely.
a family member who went into the police force, and he said he went for that reason because he understands the hood, right? He from the
Yeah,
hood,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I never thought about like what would it feel like to drive around and know that the cops understand my experience.
Mhm.
They look like me because if a
Yep.
cop pull up on me and he a black guy, you're right. I feel I'm still a little tense because he's still the
Mhm.
police.
Yep,
But
yep.
it's how black people say police. Police. I know I've been saying that my
Police.
whole life. Still the police.
Still the
Still five.
police. Yeah.
Still 12. But
Uh-huh.
like I kind of go, all right, brother, man, what's going on?
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
my mind, I'm not thinking he gonna
The
kill
shoulders
me.
drop. The shoulders
The
drop.
drop, man.
And and
Exactly.
and his shoulders drop too because he, like you said, he understands. It's not, there's a there's a it's something like you said, that relationship
Mm,
piece of, I know, I understand, I know how to the same, like I'm an extension of you, so
yeah.
my fight or flight is like, I don't have to do either, like this is
Yeah.
home base, you know what I'm saying? So like when you're talking about snap decisions, not talking about the murder of George Floyd, 'cause that was an intentional
Yeah,
over
yeah.
9-minute
But
decision.
Dante, right.
But like
Other folks
Dante,
just got to
right?
make decisions
Everyone
right in the
where's
moment.
got right there. You're going into an environment you're unfamiliar or
Mhm.
uncomfortable with. And so your fight or flight says, I have to protect myself because I think I'm about to. I mean, we see it over and over
Bro.
and over. So here's another thing too. We're not necessarily saying that you have to be black to
Uh,
create that space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like, because there are plenty officers like Officer Norman, he's a very popular
Oh,
white guy
yeah.
that's on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Instagram.
That's my
He's
dude.
in the community. He community
Mhm.
polices. He's there. He knows the community. So
Mhm.
when they see him, they still also recognize that he understands my community. He
Yeah.
understands my experience. And
Hmm.
he's trying to figure out what's going on. How can I de-escalate it? Because these are my people. This is my community. So
Yeah.
if we're having people that are almost doing, overseer work
Mm.
versus protecting a community in which we are all a part of, we're going to
Mm.
continue to see instances like this. If we're not talking across difference, the people who are oppressed will continue to be oppressed. And if we're not holding folks accountable, uh, we see what happens when
Exactly.
justice and accountability isn't necessarily there. And so it's in everyone's best interest. No one, and we know every police officer. I'm okay. I didn't even say every. We know. I feel a lot of the officers did not have intentions to murder unarmed people.
Right.
I don't think a lot of them did.
Right.
But that's not justifying the end result. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? So
Hmm.
it behooves every person to lean in across that difference and have better understanding of communities where we aren't as comfortable with, because everyone benefits when we can understand each other more.
Yeah.
They don't want
Yeah.
to be behind bars and in jail
Yeah.
or held accountable if they were intentional in what they did. But
Man.
and so it's just like we keep doing this us versus look, everybody loses. If one person is hurting, we're all hurting. Like MLK said, injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere.
Man, I'm trying to find her name. The the Minnesota officer who shot Dante Wright.
Yeah, was
Um
training a new police officer.
and well I think who she was, what is her name? Here we go, Kim Potter.
Mhm.
Um Kim Potter. So like you said, like black folks gonna expect all black folks to be like, man, put her under the jail, kill her, she the worst, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And not all black
Mhm.
folks gonna feel that way naturally,
Right.
but
Right.
there's gonna be some black folks that's like, yo, like, get rid of her. And
Mhm.
and this is my probably unpopular opinion, right? Like you were trained, right? You were doing 20, you've been in the game 26 years.
Yep.
You know what to do and how to do it. And you've probably been in high, like, kind of scary situations, right?
Mhm.
And so we expect you, right, as the, kind of policing force or the powerful person, the person with the gun. We expect you to be responsible. We
Right.
expect you to know the difference in what a taser and a gun is. Um, and so, in the same way that I've had plenty of patients who have served time, who have done really horrible things, I can find some empathy for these people who have been through difficulty and
Right.
who've done some really heinous things.
Right. Right.
In the same way, I think she deserves justice. And my
Mhm.
hope is that quite frankly, I'm just going to be honest with you. My hope is that if the evidence shows that she needs to be up under the jail, put up under the jail, and that doesn't stop the fact that I still feel bad for the lady, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
if indeed in that moment, right, she made a mistake, um, that mistake was fatal, and you got to pay for that.
Absolutely.
And
That's accountability.
um,
Yeah.
exactly, it's accountability,
That we're not
and
used to seeing
that
again.
we're not used to, and we're not expecting. I
We're
know I'm
not
not expecting,
right.
right? My expectation is not that she will be held accountable for her actions.
Right. Right.
Someone will find a loophole, but
Mhm.
I do hope. I think I can hold both emotions, like
Mhm.
both feeling
I agree.
kind of sorry for her, because I don't know the woman, right? She might have been
I don't know.
a social
Oh,
justice advocate, who knows?
yeah.
But like my hope is that that like my heart goes out for her, and the wrong that you've done, the
Mhm.
person you've killed,
Mhm. Mhm.
there's no, you can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
um
because what you're mentioning, it's a part of being human. The moment we lose that humanity is
yeah,
when we can
yeah,
find ourselves quickly becoming the evil that we talk about.
yeah, of course.
So, and that's part of the beauty that I find in our people is
Mm,
that we have overcome so many obstacles,
yeah.
and there hasn't been a feeling of retaliation or get back.
Mm,
It's still, we just want equity and
equity,
equality.
bro.
We just want, like you said, to be counted, to matter.
Yeah, Hmm.
And so that's
Hmm.
all we're fighting for, you know? And so the moment we lose that, we can find ourselves easily becoming the evil that we
Yeah.
despise, that has
Yeah.
been so oppressing to many people of color, you know? And so it's I don't think we should lose the human side of being
Yeah.
able to like you said, you know, have empathy for someone and still want justice and
Absolutely.
accountability and reform,
Absolutely.
and to have the hard and needed conversations. I don't think you can have the needed conversations that get to that place that we want to get to
Hmm.
without having empathy, because these conversations are going to be they're going to be tough. They're going to be
Yeah.
triggering. They can be heated at times, and without empathy, it's going to be a defensiveness where it's us versus them, not an understanding of each other. So,
So, brother, you've mentioned accountability a couple of times,
mm,
justice even,
mm,
and I think that is one piece of kind of what is next. What do we do next?
yeah, yeah.
Um, what else? When it comes to Black folks, what does this mean? This verdict mean for Black folks? What does it mean for white folks, cops, whomever?
Mhm,
What do you
mhm.
think?
I think for black people, it's you know, this is a good step in terms of accountability. There's a hope and still a belief that, you know, things can get better. There's more work to do, but also that this may slow down that quick, you know, those quick judgments, that
Yeah.
feeling of I can do this and get away with it.
Mm.
So I think that from a black perspective, it says, okay, I feel like I do feel like I matter today. I felt
Yeah.
like this was a step in the right direction. I mean, we're actually living in history, you know,
Mm.
like these are the
Mm.
Plessy Fergusons. Like this is, you know, these are the trials, these are the times that we're gonna read about and talk to our great grandkids about,
True.
and they're gonna be like, how did you live during that? You know, so you know,
Yeah,
for
man, you're
this
right.
was something that said, okay, we are making progress. There's still
Mm.
more work to do, but
Yeah.
we are. I mean, because I mean, you could again, this is very similar to, you know, any police beating, you know, police brutality thing we've seen in the past, where it's like, oh wow, like what does this feel like to actually get the verdict that we thought should
Mm.
have came a year ago off of just an HD video being taken, you know, like
Yeah.
everyone, the whole world saw this and we still didn't know if we would get justice, or accountability. So
Mm.
I think for white people, I think it's an opportunity for you all to continue to explore, why am I uncomfortable having needed conversations that get to equity and justice for
Mm.
all,
Mm.
and explore, you know, we all, you know, I hear, you know, from my great friends, they say, you know, we got the family members that we just don't talk about that too. You got to talk about it.
Mm.
So because
Mm.
there's more work to be done, and everyone has a part to play in this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just want, you know, do some self-reflection, some self-exploration, and for those who are still trying to find that voice. A lot of people are trying to educate themselves and say,
Mhm.
"What do I need to read? Tell me what
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
to
yeah,
do."
yeah, true.
Right? What you need to do now is just take action. Take action. Lead with
Mm.
intention. You know, if your intentions are to make a more equitable society for everyone, to break down systemic barriers, lead with that, and then just keep going. Keep taking baby steps, and it will show its way to you. You can't be perfect to get started, you know, because no one's perfect. Perfect isn't a
Yeah.
reality. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, and don't think we don't recognize strategic ignorance as well.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
if you're deciding to sit on the sidelines, we
Mm.
recognize that too. So,
Facts. Facts.
kind of check yourself, because we checking y'all too. We looking to see, hey, are you done? Did you, you know, put the Black Lives Matter sticker up on Instagram?
Oh,
And that was the last time we heard you talk about issues like this.
I ain't seen it. I ain't
This
seen
is a
it.
continued conversation that we are
Mhm.
looking to
Mhm.
see. Hey, was this convenient? Was it to say, oh, I'm with it, but not really? You
Right. Was
know,
it cool? Was it a
yeah,
fad for you?
right. And so this is something that together we can all get where we want to go, but it's not going to end. Um, it's not going to end with this verdict. This was just another part of the
Yeah.
process, man.
How dope would it be to see or to hear, learn about um white folks sitting at the table talking about this verdict
Yes.
and having the discourse around why it makes some folks uncomfortable and why it makes other folks, like again the younger generation, teaching those older folks in their homes about why this is what had to happen, what needed to happen, and
Hmm.
how this connects to Dante and Lieutenant Nazario and Michaela Bryant and all the other names. I think I told you a second ago before we got started that I had to like stop and I was like freaking out a little bit. I had started Googling just to kind of refresh my memory on who were the folks who were unarmed and black and murdered recently.
Hmm.
Oh man, I couldn't read it. I started reading, I saw George Floyd's name, then I saw Brianna, then I saw Ahmad, and I just kept going. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yep.
to see that all at the same time was just overwhelming, man. And that type of trauma, right, I think is like stored, of course, stored in our bodies, right? And it's
Hmm.
and it's like a part of our psyche, a part of our experience on a daily basis. And so this is why, like in my job, this is why I'm grateful for what you do at your job. Because oftentimes I don't have the bandwidth, the wherewithal, the energy
Right. Right.
to continue teaching white folks how to not be racist.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
today, one of the things that I did in a meeting was I really fell back real hard, and um, I think I might have brought up in like a smaller meeting, kind of the impact of the verdict and how people can have a variety of emotional experiences, some of which may conflict, right? I mean,
Hmm.
I definitely feel hopeless and hopeful at the same time currently.
Yep.
I feel a kind of a, I don't know, like a myriad of emotions, and I'm really trying to um maybe not even like sift through them right now. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be present with them, like allow
Yeah.
whatever's there to be there
Hmm.
without needing to kind of change it or fix it in kind of like a like in a mindful way, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and so like
Mhm.
creating that space in a second bigger meeting, I didn't have the energy to do it.
Yeah.
But I do know that one thing that I wanted to point out was that Keith Ellison said something that I hadn't even like thought of in my lifetime, which is wild. Keith Ellison was the attorney general, is the attorney general in Minnesota.
Okay.
And after that, and he's a black dude, right? I think he's a black dude. He's a person of color at least. He looked like a black dude a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, he's he said, he had a lot to say. I couldn't listen to him the whole time. He talked a whole lot, but one thing he said was like, we can beat this racism thing. We can beat
Yeah.
racism. And I was
Absolutely.
like, nah, dawg, we can't do that.
Yeah. We
But I'm like,
can.
man, we
Can.
actually can, bro. Like I
Yes.
can't. I, the
Yeah.
individual
We
Dennis
can.
can't.
Yes.
But God, like it is like, you know, like imagine if I someday have some kids and they grow up in a world where like when microaggressions happen, like allies, not
Hmm.
them,
Hmm.
allies say, "Hey man, that was weird. Don't say that."
Yeah. Right. Right.
you know?
Right. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right. I can't believe I didn't catch that. And then
Yeah.
and it never happens again.
Bro, that's why imagine that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And I tell everybody, in my work, as a DEI, person, my goal in life is to work myself out of a job. I don't want to have
Mhm.
to, at the end of my career, hire another me. I hope that,
Mm,
it's
mm,
already integrated into
yeah.
the business, that it's
Mm,
not we have a person it has to be a subject matter expert because we're clueless.
yeah.
And it needs to be a part, these aren't soft skills. These aren't, added tools. These are
Right.
integral skills that you have to have to
Facts, bro.
be a successful leader,
Yeah.
co-worker, business
Mm,
person, entrepreneur,
mm,
whatever it is that if you don't have cultural humility, understanding of your blind spots, where you are unaware of
yeah.
others, because right
Definitely.
now we are really combating race and gender equity, but there are so many places where we as a people
Mm,
have to do more work. We're
yeah.
talking about those with, with diverse abilities.
Yep. Of
Talking
course.
about, even right now, like you mentioned, with our AAPI brothers and sisters who are
Mhm.
dealing with all this bullying and assault and the murders in Atlanta.
Wow.
Like we
Wow.
have work to do. We all have work to do in how we show up for one another.
So
Uh,
true.
So
So
yeah,
true.
and you brought up a great point, man. You say you kind of had to take a step back and be mindful. One of the things too, I know this is basically taking up about the whole pie, but that's what we do,
Right.
and we ain't
That's what we
we
do.
haven't had a chance to talk to each other in a minute. So, whew, too
Yeah.
bad, y'all. Sorry, you're gonna get an extended pie today. Um, what are you doing? You mentioned mindfulness, and it's been a while since we connected.
Hmm.
What are you doing for self care?
Yeah.
Have you made what are some of the other adjustments? Like you said, you realized you had to kind of tweak over the past couple of weeks. If anything's changed since we last spoke.
Yeah, man. So especially with the um, more and more momentum. Um, God, man, I'm just like reflecting, man, on like how many ways in which the world has responded to George Floyd's death.
Yeah.
The NBA,
Yep.
the WNBA,
Hmm.
hell, even the NFL somehow, some way has had commercials,
Yeah.
right, about Black folks and supporting Black people.
Hmm.
Um, Protests all over the world.
Hmm.
Um, you know, it's just crazy, man. And so reflecting on all that stuff, um, I've had to like really watch what I watch. Right,
Yeah.
I'm very selective.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I can't watch Dante Wright
No.
be murdered. I can't watch Michaela Bryant. I can't see these body cam footages. This footage. Someone said earlier. I was I think I saw something on Instagram that said something about how we used to how like going to public square lynchings used to be a thing that white people did for fun,
Mhm.
right? So why do you think that replaying the trauma of a Black person being killed will garner empathy? And um that just sat so heavy with me and made me feel like, man, so again, to your point about people having different experiences, my experience when I watch a Black person get murdered is it is not entertaining,
No.
right? And it's not even informational for me. It is traumatizing.
It's a form of PTSD.
Absolutely, man. And so,
Like,
because I don't need any more traumas, I'm hoping that the people who need to see these videos can see them. So
yeah.
to your question, one way in which I take care of myself is to be very selective about what I allow in.
Yeah.
Um, of course, I've been on Zoom a whole lot lately, right? And so,
Yes. Oh my God.
all of my therapy, save maybe two patients, has been virtual.
Mhm.
So, I'm finding that as much as I love my TV and all these shows I need to catch up on, I've had to put that down and pick up some books,
Mhm.
and which has been nice. I just finished a book I had talked to you about. If you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him, by Sheldon Kopp. Um, and It's a really cool book about psychotherapy and being a therapist, doing your thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I've also picked up, like I mentioned, Mindset by Carol Dweck. This is my second time reading the book, and it's just about kind of, you would love it, man. Like being a coach and like
Oh,
people like developer, you'd love it, man. It's a book
okay.
about the fixed mindset, so people who see like these are the skills I have, and
Uh-huh.
therefore I can't be X, or I will be
Mm.
Y, because I
Okay.
had,
Okay.
I'm Allen Iverson and I got skills, so I don't need practice, right? Even
Practice.
though AI is my man,
We talking
he's a
about
goat.
practice.
But I think, she also talks about the growth mindset, all the research she's done, and she gives numerous examples, people you'd understand much
Yeah.
better than me, about ways in the business world and the professional sports world, all these other places where people bring a growth mindset,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
how, how many shots Michael Jordan missed, and Tiger Woods, how he worked on his skills, and, Mia Hamm, and Jackie Joyner Kersey, just all these amazing people, and how like
Right.
the thing
Yeah.
that they share is this ability, like this real value in growth,
Mm.
as opposed to like Michael Jordan, right? He wasn't that big, he wasn't that tall a guy, and even when he came back, wearing a 4.5, he had to change his game again, right? Kobe did the same thing. And so these are hardworking people, not people who are like blessed with this like talent that nobody else can ever have.
Right, right. And
So
that
anyway,
discipline. Man, I love that. Look, you gotta definitely text me that because that's the next book I'm getting off Amazon. I'm running out of room
yeah.
on this bookshelf behind me. Or two bookshelves. But
Yeah,
I,
you got
like
room for a third when you have to get rid of LeBron in the middle, though.
first
You-
off, let's talk about this. My mother painted this.
What?
My mom painted and
What?
this thing is huge, bro. Like this is huge. Let me show you how
Are
big.
you serious, bro?
Yeah, my mom painted this. Look how big it is.
Bro, I thought it was
Like a
small.
few. No, it's huge.
Bro, your
It's the
mom painted that?
entire wall. She painted so like as you know, my mom was here
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for 3 months. To we had room here.
Uh-huh.
COVID was crazy. She was in Atlanta, so I was like, get out.
Get up out of there.
So we were blessed to be able to be here. And so while she was here, this was kind of my Christmas birthday present that she had been wanting to do.
Bruh.
And so this was her first completed oil painting. She learned along the way.
What?
And it was, I mean, to watch it unfold and to see how, man, it's amazing.
Man,
We'll take it. It looks just like LeBron. Like
I
it
see.
is wild, bro. So,
I
but
see.
kind of to what you were saying, to watch her spend hours and focus and dedicate.
Mm.
And she's also a school teacher as well. So that's after she would teach,
Yeah,
she
that's a
would get a
night
cup of
job.
coffee and she would just go. And she was just like, I'm loving it. I'm loving how this painting is showing up. And I was like, wow. I
Wow.
was like, it's just because you showed up and owned that you are an artist. And she was like, you're right.
Come
And
on.
so
Come on,
like
mama.
her completeness was something that was good for her too, in terms of saying,
Mm.
and owning and taking back feelings or insecurities around the art that she created. And it's like, this is in me. I did this, I
It's
created
dope.
this. And so I use it, it's on the other side. So the other side of this screen, if you
Mhm.
turn my desk around, that's where
Mhm.
my zoom is for work. So while
Okay.
I'm at work, I'm always looking at LeBron. So when I'm feeling frustrated, I'm
My
like, all right,
man.
go ahead and put your shoulders on, keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, yeah, man. Shout out to
Oh,
Sandra Jones, artist extraordinaire. Um,
man, tell mama she's a beast.
I tell her every day, but I let
She's
her
a
know
beast.
she'll love hearing it come from you, brother. So
Bro,
that's
last thing I'm doing in the way of self-care is
yeah,
I know you see me on the watch.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing my thing.
Boy, let me tell you, every day I'm like, I'm looking at, he's talking about the Apple Watch, and
Yeah.
we keep track of each other's fitness, and we'll give each other, thumbs up, or something to kind of reward. I see you, bro. I see you, King.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, dang, King, every day.
Man, so I got a Neo. I got a Neo. Mike Scott is a ref, and clearly he's a ref who has good knees still, because
A
this boy
ref,
goes he
man,
goes
y'all training
hard.
like football players. He trying to be that ref that runs in front of the running back.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got you,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Okay.
Mike is a monster, and so he's invited me to some competitions on the watch, and I've said yes. I got beat most times, but recently, he's talking some smack, so I went
Uh,
ahead and smashed him, right?
yeah, yeah.
Man, and so the next competition we had, this dude maxed out points every day, right?
Oh, oh, oh.
Bro, I matched him every day. I was there with him, which is why I was
Oh,
working out so hard these last couple
okay,
weeks.
okay. I was wondering. I was
Man,
like, yo, this
I
I
was
don't know what's going
working.
on, buddy.
I was working, bro. I
Okay.
mean, and I appreciate him too, man, because when you got a good brother like that, he motivates you to
Yeah,
do something important. So
absolutely.
now I'm running. Now I'm getting back into the habit of it, and I'm kind of flirting with the idea of doing another race. So hopeful that in some time I'll be able to, train enough to do something
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
Um,
Bet.
yeah, man, what you doing to take care of yourself, brother?
Man, I am working out more. I am
Oh
working
yeah,
out
I
more.
see.
The
I see.
biggest change I made for I think I'm in my fifth week is your brother is vegan.
Vegan, vegan.
I am vegan
Like
vegan.
vegan mac and cheese vegan?
I don't want vegan mac and cheese.
It's
I'm
good though.
vegan though. I
It's good
believe
though.
it. I believe it. But for the past 5 weeks, my wife and I, we were starting with, trying to do. We had been doing like meatless Mondays and things like
Okay.
that. We've been doing like almond milk instead of regular milk. So,
Yeah, bet.
we just really just been feeling. Honestly, it's just like I just don't feel that great, and
Yeah,
it's like something needs to
yeah.
change. And we have both been talking about it, and I think for me, I just recognize physically something needed to change. Your body can tell you something, and it's up to you to listen. So I was like, I just
That's
need, I,
real.
I I need this a little bit more. I'm a little bit older,
Oh yeah.
a couple years old, just a few.
Oh
But
yeah.
I wanted to. I knew something needed to change. I'm sitting more. We're on Zoom
Mm.
calls, so
Mm-hmm.
something has to change. My eating habits had to change, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I started watching this. as I was already looking up like, vegan recipes and stuff on YouTube and, seeing how to do it in a healthy way. And then I stumbled upon a documentary called The Game Changers on Netflix,
Okay,
and
let me write this
started
down.
watching like the first 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I gotta stop this because I gotta bring Tariel in,
Okay,
and so
bet.
and so Tariel comes in. I'm like, bet, look, you just gotta watch this first 10 minutes, and we like, we're both doctors, so we like things that provide resources and references and studies and the science behind it because we understand it, and so or
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least understand enough to do more research to figure out if it works for us. So I recommend everybody do that same thing, recognize, don't just follow what people say, actually kind of look and see if it's the best choice and decision for your lifestyle.
Bet, bet,
But
bet.
all of these Olympic athletes, the Cam Newtons and
Wow.
I'm talking about like marathon runners, the people
Wow.
Spartan races. They mention how they broke their times and broke their records once they made the switch to a plant-based diet and to being vegan,
Wow.
and how our bodies naturally, utilize plant protein better than it does meat, and so I was
Hmm.
like, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go. And so at first, that first week, Tario was like, okay, I'll do my chicken breast and my rice for lunch, but that's the only time I'll eat meat.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
cool. But my body, and after watching this, I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna try it.
Yeah,
And so I
yeah.
just started cold turkey right there. We were doing, a lot of peas, a lot of beans and stuff like that. And bro, when I tell you, I have never, ever, ever felt this good in
Hmm.
my life that I can
Wow.
remember. I'm
Wow.
talking, I played all three sports,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
but I
yeah.
was eating a ton of meat and I always felt heavy, or
Of
my
course, of course.
recovery time is quicker. That's why I can
Hmm.
work out. I was working out like 6 days in a row, and I was like, I
Facts,
guess I can work out
facts.
seven. I don't feel bad. Man, I'm the lowest weight I've been in 3 years.
My man.
Bro, yeah, man. Yeah, hey, bro, listen.
My
Hey,
man.
we about to, it ain't Meg, it ain't just gonna be hot girl summer, it's gonna be hot doc
A
summer for us
hot
over
dog.
here, man.
You can have it by
Hot.
yourself. My
I
my
don't
girl
care.
would kill me.
Hot. Why? You doing it for you and for her?
It's gonna be a cold summer for me.
No, man.
I'm gonna
She
be
would
in the house.
appreciate you. That I mean, not go out
Yeah,
here
hot, hot.
and be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
dot
yeah.
dot.
Not
I'm
that,
talking about
not,
like
not, not that kind of hot.
physically and emotionally,
Oh, okay. Inside, internally
Yeah,
hot.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
hot on the inside. Okay.
Exactly, exactly. So, but yeah, man, it's been great. I'm
That's
enjoying it.
fire, dog.
We
Congrats, bitch.
thank you.
Congrats, bro.
We
It's
definitely
huge.
rely. We spent more. We would do shortcuts and would rely on the meat for the flavors, and so
Mm-hmm.
doing
Mm-hmm.
beans and tofu and
Yeah.
just we have several different options that we have, now that we're
Yeah.
older, well, now
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
society and culture there's just more options out there now, so it's
Yeah.
easy to
Of
be
course.
vegan. I don't miss meat, bro. I thought I was. I don't
Yeah.
miss meat, and bro, I found this
Yeah.
vegan black owned pizza shop and and like 15 minutes from here, bro. I'm done.
What?
I ain't never going back to meat, bro. So I'll give you updates on how I feel, but I feel great, man. I
That's
feel
amazing.
really, really good.
That's
I always
amazing.
picked at people who are like, oh, the vegan, doing the vegan thing.
Right.
And now I'm
Yeah, I'm
like,
vegan. I'm vegan.
yeah, and I'm like, I get it now. This makes a ton of sense. So,
That's tight. That's fire,
yeah.
dog. That's fire.
So,
That's fire. I'm
how
actually
about
playing
yourself?
with something similar, man. I know we talked about it a little bit, but I had an experience in like my stomach didn't like, I was traveling, my stomach did not like the meat, and I've pulled
Yeah.
back significantly from the meat. So
Okay,
currently
okay.
I'm doing mostly seafood, but then I started
Yeah.
watching this Netflix or
Oh,
Netflix documentary.
Seaspiracy.
Bro, I
Oh,
watched half of it, bro, and I'm like, okay,
I'm good. I'm good.
I got to go outside and eat grass now and dirt
Yep.
because I
Yep.
can't eat meat and I can't eat the seafood. And I
Nope.
love my seafood. I love it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
No.
yeah, what they doing out there to them dolphins and whales is that stuff not cool, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
I agree. Well, welcome my future vegan brother. I will share my recipes with thou.
I'm grateful
Uh,
for your
look,
wisdom.
man. Hey, we about to. Hey, look.
Hey man,
Whew, I mean, hey, look.
I'm gonna have a hot girl summer at the crib.
There you go. Hot
That's what I'm
doc
gonna do.
summer. You don't want
Hot
to be
dog
hot girl.
summer. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
But if
Speaking
that's
of
your
hot
thing, that's cool.
girls,
Okay.
what's what do you have on your feet?
Dang. Okay. So I'm gonna be honest. I was so excited to have like this setup and
Mm-hmm.
everything. I ain't even pick
Mm-hmm.
out no shoes yet. So,
Mm.
you go
Mm.
first,
Oh,
and while you
no.
go, I'm gonna think of. Actually, I have a pair in the closet. Give me one
I'm
second.
gonna
I
give
know
you a
what I'm
second
wearing. I'm gonna know
because
what I'm wearing.
you don't want me to go first.
All right. Here we go.
I'm telling you why y'all waiting on Dr. J. I just want to say thank you. We want to say some major gratitude for your patience. For the many times that you all have put up with us and our gaps between our episodes. We are forever grateful. One of our favorite people out there, Kevin on stage, said you got to be willing to do 100 episodes and know when to watch them if you really want to do a podcast. And we are at episode
All
number
right.
12,
Your
and we're
boy is
very
back.
grateful. So thank you, and
The-
thank you.
These will not they will not match,
Okay, that's cool.
but these were an eBay pickup.
Okay.
Um you know who I
Okay, LBJ.
it's my guy.
Uh-huh.
This is an OG pair
Okay.
in great condition.
Great condition.
You know,
With a box this time.
I'm from North Carolina with a box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm from North Carolina, so
You are.
how I get down.
Mm-hmm.
Our team is the Charlotte Hornets.
Facts.
So when I saw these nines, I had to cop.
Nines.
You're
Ah.
so I have the LeBron, what is it? Hornet Lake
Yeah.
Hornet Lake nines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, supposedly these are
Okay.
worn. I don't really see where they
Those
were worn,
they look
but
brand new.
that's what I said, So
I mean, you have laces for them too?
yeah, they do. Every
Okay,
time
just
I get a
curious.
pair of shoes off of eBay, I do a deep clean and thorough. So I got all the Hornet
Ah,
laces and all
yeah,
that
they
good stuff.
funky.
So they just haven't been on the feet. They just been sitting on ice. So,
Mm,
but yeah, man, that's something
okay.
something I can't wait to wear when the summertime come out, and I already got
Yeah.
my Dreamville Charlotte Hornet jersey ready.
Oh
Can't
boy.
wait. But now I'm scared. I'm scared because
Come on now. Don't do that.
this man Dennis has
Don't do
been
that.
just sending me text messages of boxes. He'd be like, "Got some more heat in the mail today. Got 3 more packs coming soon." And I'm like, "Bruh, I just told you I stopped buying shoes, and now I'm buying stocks.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
sending me
Yeah.
boxes." And
Don't
then be
do
like,
it.
"Yo, we can get the bulk rate from my Connect." And I'm just like,
I'm doing
killing
both.
me.
I'm buying a little bit of stocks, a little bit of sneakers, but I'm on
So,
punishment. I'm on
oh,
punishment.
for the sneakers.
Yeah.
Good. So tell, yeah, yes. Tell her I said thank you because dang, bro, like I'm like, oh, I gotta come out of retirement. But go
what's
ahead, okay.
what's funny is that she don't really put me on punishment. I gotta put myself on punishment.
You sure doggone right you
Yeah,
do, cause she
because
don't know what you ordered. I know she don't know
I
it. It'll just show up and be like, oh yeah, I got these a long time ago.
that just happened. I did, and it's one pair she don't know about yet. So don't tell her.
Oh,
Don't tell her.
are these the ones you
It,
about to unveil right now?
nah, those ones is even might be a little more fire than these ones. I got at least 3-4 pair you ain't seen, brother.
Oh man,
So
hiding sneakers in the house. Where you
yeah,
hiding them in, bro? You
in
can't.
my closet. I
Oh,
got my
okay.
own closet
Okay.
up in here. She
You
don't
got.
go up in my closet.
Oh,
It's my
you got to
closet.
move. You got to move the dress shirts and tuck them in the corner. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you right. Yeah. I just ran in my closet. Shit. Yeah.
So I'll show you the box. Show you
Oh
the box.
God, I'm excited. I'm excited and scared at the same time because I know they about to be some fire flame.
That's
Oh,
the box.
these look like some J's.
That's the box.
These look like some
let
J's.
me show you. That's the box. Folks that are real sneakerheads know which box that's for.
Yeah.
But it's a little something freaky. Let me just reach on in the box and show you what I got going on here, Dr. J. And so these are hard to find. Um, they're not that hard to find. You just got to pay for them if you want them. And I wanted them. I've already sprayed them down to make sure that the suede don't get dirty. And they got blue laces, even though I doubt I'll use the blue laces. They look like royal blue, so go my right there. But yeah, just a little some light. Some light. Little
bruh, you ain't tell me that you was ordering them.
A little hyper royal. Little hyper royal one. With the
man, I'm a Tar Heel fan. You can't be bringing in the J's that go great with the Tar Heel. Oh my God!
And I haven't had a Jordan 1 before.
Me either. And sneakers that won't let me be great.
Yeah, man. I talked to my nephew. He gave me some recommendations, and we popped up with the Jordan 1 Hyper Royal.
Okay.
With the great check blazer.
Okay.
So that's what we're working with today, brother.
Okay.
working with today.
I will give you your flowers, bro. You brought the heat today.
A little
My
something.
hey,
A little
hey,
something.
that okay, a little something like, all right, yo, those
A
are
little
fire. We're gonna
something.
have a whole nother conversation about uh potential bulk orders, group orders and stuff like that. Because I ain't know you was getting stuff like that. I know you're Air Max
Yeah.
guy. So for me,
Yeah,
I was like, it's gonna
facts.
be a colorway I ain't never seen before. But
No.
you come pulling out some heat. All right, bet.
Yeah. And
I
there's
have to
plenty more in the
remember.
closet. Plenty
Okay.
more in the closet.
And again, this is for motivational purposes only to let
Facts.
every person know that
Yes.
if you do well in school,
Keep doing it.
keep doing what you do,
Facts.
whatever it is that you do, but
Whatever it is.
recognize that, hey, if you're a young person and you want
Mm-hmm.
those real nice things, there are other
You
options. It's called
They are
scholarships, it's called
scholarships.
grants, it's called
Ranch.
having a great look. You can do it. And
Do it.
so, again, these are all things we made promises to ourselves when we were younger. We were going to get these shoes when we could afford them and it wouldn't set
Facts.
us back. And
Yep.
so, you got to treat yourself every now and then. This is how we
Treat
treat
yourself.
ourselves. Some people do cocaine, we buy sneakers. So I'm just saying. It's a pretty good trade-off. I'd prefer sneakers
I
over the
I
cocaine.
do too.
So,
Funny story, real quick.
yeah,
One of
yeah,
my
yeah.
biggest fears growing up was tripping and falling into a pile of cocaine,
Oh.
and then and like sniffing because I had to breathe. And now I'm addicted to cocaine for the rest of my life. It was,
Wait.
it was trying to figure where the file was gonna come
Listen,
from.
bro. As you were telling the story, I thought you were gonna say like dog poop, and so
Nah,
like the dog
nah.
poop disappeared in my mind and turned into a cloud of cocaine.
Bro,
It just
it
said
was just a
poof,
mound. And
and then
again, like,
I could
I
just
grew up in the
see
hood, but
little
there was
Dennis
no
like,
cocaine. Just that's
no,
what it was, man. I was scared.
no.
I was scared. I just and it was just like, and then you always chase that first high for the rest of your life. And it's wild. Because I've done some substance use training now, and I've never had a patient who's ever tripped and fallen into a pile of cocaine, bro. That was my biggest fear. I was so scared. It would just ruin my life. So
Wow.
scared. So scared.
Thank you for sharing that, man. I needed that
Man.
laugh. This is a part of self-care. Talking to your people,
Yeah,
reconnecting
facts.
with the people who bring you joy,
Facts. Facts.
sharing some joy throughout these trying times,
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, big time.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what we do, what we have.
Man.
It's been far too long since we've even been able to have a conversation like this. Glad we're able to
True.
do it in public. And
Very true.
I just hope, everyone continues to get something from the things that, we like to discuss and from our normal conversations, man. You got any special socks on today, bro? You knew the
Man,
shoes were so tight, you was just like, just
I'm bumming it today, man. I
bet,
don't even know
bet,
if I
bet.
got on socks, but
Okay.
as you know, these shoes here are not
I'll
on
say,
feet. They
but you
have
ain't
yet to
got
be
them on your
worn.
feet with no socks on,
Oh
right?
no. No, no, no. These have yet to be worn. I'm scared to take them out the box like that. I'm about to put them right back.
You better.
Uh,
Yeah.
but to Jaren's point, I'm really, really grateful. As I was sharing with our listeners a moment ago, I'm really grateful for you all and your patience and your
Hmm.
loyalty to QSP. And I'd say the only thing I'm more grateful for is for your friendship, brother. Thank you for
Likewise,
being the amazing
likewise.
person that you are.
Absolutely.
Um,
You as
and
well,
so
brother.
for this content, you might be able to find us.
Everywhere, everywhere. Oh, wait. Hold
Wait,
on before we leave.
what's up?
Wait,
What's up?
we ain't talk about the fit either.
Oh
With the
man.
Mamba Sports Academy, I was
I
able to
saw the
get
Mamba.
one.
I saw that.
Yeah,
That's
man. I
wild
was
for the
able to
night.
get this, but I want to talk a little bit more specifically about my
Yeah, tell
hat,
about this hat, man.
So
What's
this
this?
is a for those who know me a little bit more, y'all know I've been trying to tell y'all to start looking at the stock market and starting to learn a little bit more research. There's a bunch
Mm-hmm.
out there. Why not? So about 3 years ago, me and my Uncle Thomas, shout out to Uncle Thomas Williams, one of the greatest guys I know. We were having conversations about crypto. And just how some things can be memes and fun,
Yeah.
but looking at disruptive industries and things like that. And so we might have made a little small investment in Dogecoin 3 years
Hmm.
ago when it was not even a third of a penny.
Huh.
And very small investment, but
Yeah.
it's now worth 34 cents
Oh wow.
per share.
Oh
So
wow.
this is the mascot. It was started out as a joke to kind of pick
Wow.
at cryptocurrencies. But it kind of just caught wind and continued. It has a huge community, so I think it'll be the fun
Wow.
cryptocurrency. And because it's affordable and Bitcoin seems a little bit more elitist right now,
Mm-hmm.
I could see once it gets added into uses, or once you'll be able to use like Dogecoin for things like maybe Amazon purchases, or
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
it shows up on your Venmo or Square app, like you'll see it continue to. I think it'll help people start to, kind of learn and discover more about cryptocurrency.
Wow.
So I was thinking of that, a couple years ago. We said, hey, this might be fun. You just put a little something in there, see what happens. And so put a little
That's
something in there, we
dope.
saw what happens. And so again, invest in things that you know about if you don't know about it, and kind of do more research on it.
Mm.
And again,
Wow.
it's investments, man. Investments in stock and cryptocurrency. I can't express it more. Um,
Mm.
yeah, have fun with it. And
That
don't
is that is epic.
only invest money you don't mind losing. So don't like invest
Yeah.
your
Whew.
mortgage. Don't
Facts. I'm
invest your
losing some
mortgage.
lately.
Yeah. So that's why I ain't got no sneakers in a while, man. I've been buying stocks.
Man, I need to do more. I'm losing some money on one of my, it pays dividends, but boy, it is not being kind to me.
You
Um,
might want to buy some Nike stocks, sir.
is that right?
It's something that you know. It's a product that you trust.
You're right.
You see
You're
what I'm saying?
right.
Your first stocks should be things that you either believe in, that you find value in,
Right.
because you're the content, you're the subject matter expert as a
Hmm.
user for that thing. So
No, you're right. You're right. You're
so
right.
I don't own any stock in Nike, because when I decided to get in, it was above the price point that I wanted to kind
That's
of
what I was
enter in.
thinking. That's what I was
But
thinking.
it's
Hmm.
if you believe in the company, believe in what they're doing right now in the future, it'll continue to go up.
Man, that's a
So
good
it's
point.
still
It's a good point.
affordable, still affordable. So just something to think about, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Women.
My fit is unimpressive today. I bought a matter of fact, let me not play down for myself. Look, my fit is kind of fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Fit
yeah.
is kind of fire.
Thank you, sir.
Um I've got I've got on my I got a brand new pair of Target glasses. I pop the lenses out because
Hey,
you know how I do, how I get
yeah,
down. Um
Tajay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The hat, right? This hat actually means something to me, and I'm gonna tell you about it, right?
Okay.
So you know, tried and true, down to my core, I'm in love with Go Mob with Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, right? Um,
Oh,
I
okay.
was a Sigma Beta growing up. You know, I was a president of Sigma Beta Club for like 3, 4 years, and then I came to Morehouse College where I pledged single letter chapter, Chi chapter. March 26, 1926. So,
Okay. All
you know,
right.
but also on our campus, right?
Bit much, but
Um,
okay.
I used to, I used to always, have like some respect for a lot of my friends who became alphas, right? And back at the
Oh,
time, right? I
yeah.
definitely, Sigmas could stroll, but I can't lie. When I crossed in '04, I felt like the alphas, if they were gonna do something right, it was definitely strolling, right?
Oh,
You
okay.
know, so
Yeah.
and so Alpha Row is their chapter, and
If we did something right, it was gonna be stroll.
yeah, they did plenty right, but one of the things they did well was stroll. And
Okay.
so I
Yeah.
was a hat collector back in those days. I used to wear I mean, all I
Ah.
wore was caps, man. All
Yep.
I
Yep.
had on
Same.
field baseball caps. Shout out to my man Corey Gillespie, one of the best men I know. He's not Greek, but God knows that man knows his way around some baseball caps and some great music. He's an amazing
Nice.
person.
Yeah.
So I got my hat game from Corey. Alpha Row would always wear the Pirates hat with the P, right, for the row. Um, and I just always liked that hat. And when I was an undergrad, I was like, man, I can't wear that hat because the alphas wear that hat. Well, I ain't in
I was
Morehouse no more.
I was
So
looking. I was like, you got the hat to pay homage to us?
I
Ah,
got
oh
that hat. What was,
06.
of course, what's interesting, right, is that I just got this little windbreaker, right? I love it. Love my little North Face.
Yeah,
But
black
it
and
just so
old
happens,
gold.
right? It happens to have a little black, little gold.
Oh, you're an
So
alpha
I'm
today.
not an alpha today, but shout out
Oh,
to my
shout
homies
out to my brothers.
that are alphas.
1906.
Shout out to
Yes.
Ronald Davis, a great alpha I
It's
know, with
okay.
Tyler Brown,
Jaron
uh,
Jones.
Jaron Jones, my man T Tark. So yeah,
Morehouse, Dr. Martin Luther King
here we
Jr.
go. Here we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
Silent
a
Drummer was his
oh,
name.
he was
Yeah. But
he
it's
was a
good to
he was
see the colors look good
so
on you, brother.
here we
I
go.
you
Here we
know,
see. I shouldn't have said a thing. See, I
you
shouldn't have said a
should
thing.
have. It's
Should not have
okay.
said a thing.
I
So
appreciate I appreciate the fit, brother.
I definitely want to
One
show
day
the
I'm gonna have
love.
some blue and white. One day.
Uh-huh. I hear you
Do I have
talking,
any blue
but
and
you
white
ain't
sneakers?
saying
I
much.
might. We'll see.
Uh so
Yeah.
despite Jaren's craziness and
Yeah,
my
man.
alpha-esque outfit, sorry, bros. Forgive me, please.
Don't be sorry.
There are some places y'all can find us. You can find us on Facebook.
At at Quarantine Snacks Podcast.
You can find us on Clubhouse at
Quarantine Snacks Podcast.
Facts. YouTube, where?
Quarantine Snacks Podcast.
IG, where can you find us?
Quarantine Snacks Podcast.
Gmail, email us at,
Quarantine Snacks Podcast.
and you can tweet us at.
The QSP.
All right.
Twitter was being difficult.
Twitter was weird. Somebody
Twitter
else
was
got
weird.
that. I don't know how they have that already, but who knows?
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Tell somebody about it. Leave us a comment, some feedback. Rate us, review us, please. Like that helps other people find out about us, and that gets us more exposure to our community. So
it does. Thank you, Jaron. Thank you, people. Thank you, snackers. I am Dr. Socks.
And I am Dr. J.
Keep snacking.
Peace.